Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends and fans come together, BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discuss musical artists. This week, musical artist is the Deftones, brought to you by our Patreon member, Trey.
Hi.
No,
Your hosts, as always, are Jason and Tim,
that one's me.
and I'm Bill. If you would like to choose what we discuss on Old Drunken Discography, you too can do it by joining our Patreon. Link down below in the description. If you want to hang out, talk to us on our Discord, we are more than happy to talk any sort of music. We love talking music. It's one of the beauties of every art form. We have already ranked the first 8 albums of the Deftones, but you already know that because you're following along in the playlist down below as well. We are on album number 9, Ohms, which was released in the year 2020, the last one to date. Note, Deftones are releasing another album later this year of 2025.
We'll see.
We probably will do a little recording of that, do a listen through to say that we did.
Yeah, we'll add
Go check out what we said it up to this point, and that should give you a good vibe about what we probably will think of this one and the next album.
Damn, Bill, what you just
You're gonna love it.
don't speak for Tim and I now, or Trey, you know.
No, no, no. Well, no. I mean, it's a vibe that we're growing at this point. I mean, if you want to be so adamant, I mean, Jason, why don't you start us off with
No,
Ohms?
no, you're the ones. You got like some master plan here. There's a vibe. There's a trend. What's the trend there? What's going on with Ohms?
So this one, all right. Fuck you, Jason. Um,
You want me to start? I'll start.
Tread lightly.
I'll start.
yeah,
I'll rip the Band-Aid off
yeah.
because I do kind of agree. I think Bill was on the right path there in his intro. Genesis, Chino sounds like he gives a fuck again, so that's something. Kind of sounds like a newer Marilyn Manson song with all the weird echoes and whatnot. Ceremony, Terry Date produced again. At least it sounds good. But Terry can only work with what the bands give him. He can only do so much. Track 3, when that intro started, I was like, fuck yeah. Then it would stop for a second. And then it would start again. It was like an old truck backfiring. It had me on the edge of my seat. I was literally shouting, come on, you can do it, at the TV, because I play through Spotify on my TV, on my Xbox. And then that verse started, and we are right back to mid-tempo droning Deftones. Like, it almost did something. Air, the chorus sounds like they ripped off White Zombie's Thunder Kiss 65. And I can prove it. Like, it started, I was like, yeah, okay, it was dun, 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 dun. I was like, what is that? I was like, oh God, that's fun. And my kid was sitting next to me, and I played them back to back, and she was like, yeah, that's the same. I'm Thunder Kiss all the way. The
White Zombie's great.
The Spell of Mathematics, I started playing with the dog. When this one started, it was just kind of droning in the background. Pompeii? Did they misspell Pomp? Whatever. I don't know what else to say at this point. This is boring, slow, droning, simple, boring. It's like Timu Tool. This link is dead. I went and read some critics' reviews, and I just don't get it. Dark, refreshing, heavy stuff. Those were all things said for this album. What am I missing? This is the same shit they've been doing for like 20 years now at this point. Radiant City, that might be the highlight of the album for me. The guitars did some cool things in parts. Chino sounded okay. But by track 8, it's a little too late for me to care. Headless, so many songs start with some long, boring, quiet noise before it kicks into some boring mid-tempo Deftones. Let's see the timestamp on this one. 47 seconds. And it took 47 seconds before we got to the boring mid-tempo Deftones. Title track, I just don't care at this point. And those were my notes.
Yeah, my only real difference is I thought the title track was one of the better closers they've had in the discography. Um, it sounded like they all kind of gave a shit on that one. So yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting much out of a next album, but this one would, if I was a Deftones fan, that would leave me with some hope. Like, oh, maybe the next one will be good. Um, this one is a little heavier in production as far as like the guitars go and whatnot. It's interesting. You said like a discount Marilyn Manson. The Timu Tool, I was definitely getting. There's a lot of Tool influence here. Um, and you know, if that's your thing, you'd probably love this band. Um, yeah. Um, this one felt like, in general, like they were a little more inspired than they had been in a couple years, but they are just doing what they do. And so, yeah, the ear fatigue was real at this point. Um, yeah, that's really what I got without, giving away my ranking.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're the one that gets the. No, Jason's choosing this one. Never mind. Disregard what I was about to
Thanks,
say.
Bill.
Yeah, no problem. It's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll quickly pick you up back off of this before Trey tells us all that we're all idiots and wrong. Um, I will give this one. This one sounded like they were partially reverting back to their first couple albums at times. Um, just in like sound and tone wise. I feel like there was some more of that coming through, but they were still doing a lot of the same stuff they did on Koi and Gore. Um, it there's an interesting hybrid between the two, I will say. Um, not interesting like in a musical sense, but interesting as a listener listening to it. I probably agree with everything that was said between you two. Error, that's actually the one. Additionally, like this sounds like some sort of like Rob Zombie Dragula bullshit, real quick. But nope, the White Zombie is definitely more
It's
accurate and a better analogy. Like,
it just doesn't have
yep,
the ding part.
yep. The beat's starting. I'm like, oh, okay, like this song's about to go, and then, unlike the little engine that could, this engine did not get up the hill. Um, but I mean, there was actually, I'll say, there was some energy in this album at points. Uh, it wasn't like an overbearing energy or like a youthful energy, but it was like there was actually some emotion, not emotion, but like there's something behind some of these songs at times that tried to push it above the last couple albums. And at times succeeded, at other times, yeah, no.
Interesting.
All right. So I remember when this album came out. Um, I wasn't, I was still kind of irritated with the whole Cheese situation. At this point, he's dead. They've moved on. I'm still like, how can you do that? Whatever. So I didn't listen to this when it came out, but I remember when it came out, it was Loudwire's #1 album of the year, Revolver's #1 album of the year.
I remember when it came out.
It got the band their second Grammy nomination, and I listened to it and I didn't get it. I it was like, okay, it's fine. I've been listening to it, and yeah, it's another album of highlights for me. Um, so whoever's ranking, you're welcome. Ohms gave me, on my way home today, the title track gave me goosebumps. That introduction, and it's like Tim said, the band actually feels like they're all working together, and it's just so fucking well done. I posted a picture on the Discord because I got these massive goosebumps. It gave me chills. Um, Error.
DC's?
What's that?
I said DC's?
I think he's going the opposite
He's
DC's.
going
Oh, okay.
ACs.
Yeah.
He's
AC's.
going,
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah,
I just wanted to make sure.
yep.
Error. I totally get what you're saying with the Thunder Kiss, but it's another one of those songs that has that swing like Swerve City and Butcher. Gore doesn't have one of those songs. And it's like that old song, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing, which is why I think Gore just does not work for me.
But
It's not there, it's missing. Pompeii, that song was so fucking weird to me at first. Because even though if you look back at the entire discography, there is a lot of religious iconography, this is their most like overtly, I'm not going to say it's a religious song, but it openly talks about religion in a way they've never had before. What they're saying about it, I don't fucking know, but I like the song.
I want to
See,
go
that's-
back.
I'm-
I want to go back to Ohms for a second, right? Okay, I just want to make the point that both of you guys said, you and Tim said, this is the song with all the band members feel like they're together, as if that's a good thing because it's track 10 on a fucking album.
I agree, but you gotta. I like this band, and I've liked what's come before. This band has not functioned well together since probably White Pony.
That's fucked up. Like, at least Green Day, no matter how bad a Green Day album is, those three motherfuckers are locked in together. Like,
I get
you
it.
can tell.
Oh, I get it, but like I said, I like this stuff, even when they're not working together. So when they work together, it gives me goosebumps.
Okay.
But Saturday Night Wrist, like it's a fucking weird album. The band is on every different page in the book, but I like that album.
Yeah, I mean, it had some good shit on it. It did.
This album is the first time in a long time where it really feels like they're actually doing something different. Or not different, but together. Together is a better way of saying
Okay.
it. Yeah, the link is dead, spell of mathematics. Yeah, I get it. If you don't like that stuff, they're kind of boring, but man, I could just sit there in bed and listen to that shit all fucking day. It's just, you know, it reminds me of oh my God, I'm
Oh,
fucking
I
drunk.
like this. Keep going. Give me
It
that.
reminds me of my favorite Steve Ditko, Stan Lee, Doctor Strange comic books. Like they're just so fucking out there that when you get done with it, it's like, man, I'm just a fucking piece of shit on a little tiny blue dot in a giant fucking universe. That's what this album does to me, and I love it.
I'm ready to rank this motherfucker. Let's go.
You know where
Is
it's
anyone ever truly ready to rank Deftones?
I'm ready. Right or wrong. All right. I think Bill's gonna like it more than Gore. Right there.
That would be incorrect.
Too high, too low.
Too low.
Okay, you liked it more than that.
Yes.
Oh fuck. All right. I think Tim's doing the same thing.
But how?
Well, you fucked the owl. Owl doesn't
What?
matter. Owl doesn't matter in this conversation. I think. Yeah, I think Tim liked it more than Koyo.
I think you're right.
The koi pond.
Trey is the hard one, though. Trey is the fucking hard one. Trey taught really well about it, so I'm going to go ahead and move all these down. And fuck the owl. Did Trey like it? Same question. Did Trey did like it more than Koi. It's not your number one, though. That's where it's going. Number two. Number one?
It is my number one,
Wow.
What?
which
Above
means
self-titled?
I'm actually not that excited for whatever's coming because this one's good, which means I think the next one's going to be bad.
Okay.
I'm going to say almost the same thing, except I'm going to put it in number 9. I think
You're
this
not
one's
excited?
bad, and the next one's going to be bad too. Because the last, well, we'll get to the color code.
I do have to pull a mulligan here. I fucked my rankings up,
Oh,
and I
okay, let's do it.
apologize to Bill because Koi no Yokin should be number 2. Bill was right. At that point, it was my number 1.
Oh, okay. Well, we all ended up with different number ones. I've got the first album. Tim's got
And
that
number-
solid debut. Bill's got that weird
I'm
number
on the
4.
album number 2.
Yeah,
That's album number 2.
yeah. You got that solid sophomore record.
Yep.
Bill's got that. We're gonna rock this time. 4th album,
Self-titled.
it's self-titled, and Trey's got that. I'm the fan, and this is the newest Deftones, and it fucking kicks ass. So that's interesting.
It's weird. There's not a whole lot of bands that I like their newest stuff. And
I
honestly,
mean, the 2010s and 2020s have been kind of a different time for a lot of bands that have existed since the 2000s and before.
yeah.
Now it's time for the color code. Who's breaking the seal? Not me.
Want me to do it?
Or I can. I think I know what I want to do with the color
I
code.
want to see what Tim does.
Tim's gonna set my tone probably.
That's-
well,
yeah,
no, he
Tim's
won't
setting
actually.
the tone.
Mine's actually pretty locked in, and I got a very detailed explanation for everything I do.
I just want to see how much red.
Well,
Well, I'm gonna
feeling-
start at yellow.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
oh shit, you fucking.
I thought this was
asshole.
gonna be like
You asshole. He's not setting the tone at all. He's pulling that yellow caution shit. He did that on a past discography we did.
I thought this was gonna be like a Trump election map.
Oh, it's about to get all kinds of MAGA up in here, color code wise.
So
Go
yeah, we're
on,
gonna do
Tim.
9. We're gonna do 9 through 6 as yellow, and we're gonna do 4 through 1 is green. And I'm just not sure about White Pony, which side of the fence it goes on.
Oh, I'd lean to yellow.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaning.
And I was about to do the race-handed. Like, what about number 5?
That was the hardest one for me. Yeah, I think that in the grand scheme of things, if you like the Deftones, those 4 albums you should probably check out and you probably enjoy. The rest of them, I can't get behind. So, but then I don't get it. It's not for me. So, and I know that they're very popular. So I'm going to say proceed with caution with those. If the first 4 aren't for you, then, adjust your colors accordingly.
I think after 10 is a perfect time for me to go.
Okay.
Because I'm going to explain this in detail. So, the color coding, I struggled a lot with this discography. And I felt like the most fair thing for me to do was to go back in my color coding history. And where I started was with my Cramps color coding. Because I was a band, they had a lot of stuff going on interesting musically. I thought it was really cool, some of the stuff they did. But I didn't like Lux's voice. And that turned me off of a lot of their other stuff. And I gave Cramps a straight yellow across the board, where I'd be like, hey, pay attention to my like how I ranked it 1 through whatever. Don't so much my color code. The thing is, because if you like something, you're gonna like it all. Because that's how
Not
like I treat.
necessarily,
Well, but that's how I
unless
did
it
my
all
color
sounds the
coding.
same. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound all the same, but like it's all like you'd be able to find something in each one as you picked it up. Is how I looked at that one.
Okay.
So with that logic, I'm like, on the same tone as those Cramps, I would do 1 through 4 in that yellow.
1 through 4.
Yes. Because then I'm saying like, okay, like there was stuff that I found somewhat interesting musically in those Cramps albums. There was stuff that I liked. Just Lux's voice turned me off at times.
All right. What about the
And then
Deftones?
I know, yep, and I know, and that's why like those first 4 albums where stuff's like,
Are you saying
do
you
I
don't like
see my
Chino's voice?
nope, nope, nope. What I'm saying is, though I myself may not personally go back to them, I think there are something in those first 4 albums that a Deftone fan or someone who might want to listen to the Deftones could find interesting and potentially like.
Okay.
That's how I'm approaching those 4. The next 2, 5, and 6, I'm going to label as red. Because again, for me, for those, I'm saying like, okay, like I wouldn't put them up in that same category as I did with the Cramps, or those are more like in the
You,
Creed aspect for me.
you
But it's
said
like,
5 and 6.
yes,
Okay.
What the fuck?
like there was stuff in there that maybe you might like, but for me, if you want to explore the Deftones discography, I really wouldn't go after those 2 albums myself. I think that if you wanted to explore those 4, be the ones to go to, like it didn't for me it didn't do a whole lot. Which leaves us with 7 through 9. And out of everyone on this panel, I feel I've been the one to give out the very fewest of this color to any discography we have covered.
He's
Period.
throwing shade at you and me, Tim. You see that?
No,
He says,
I'm
I
not throwing.
caught it.
I'm
I
not
caught
throwing
it.
shade. Like
I believe you had Nickelback
it's
Brown.
honesty.
Well,
I've had Nickelback Brown before,
yeah,
but
you had it on Green
it's
Day.
not been as plentiful as you two, and that's not knocking. That's because like when we covered Nickelback and Creed, the lowest I went on Creed was a red, and Nickelback.
Well, yeah, we put Nickelback Brown on your picks because your picks are Nickelback.
No, but that's
Green Day, COC, go back and watch those videos.
On that note, though, yeah, I didn't have Nickelback Brown on COC. Besides that, and honestly, on that same note, because here's where I'm looking at 7 through 9. Personally, I would rather listen to any album in Nickelback's discography. I would rather listen to any album in COC's discography.
Can you slap him for that first comment?
Hold up, we'll go back to that. Keep going,
And
bro.
I will probably potentially
You better
listen
say
to
it.
almost anything inside of Creed's discography for 7 through 9.
What about Green Day? You didn't say Green Day.
Oh, I would absolutely listen to anything in Green Day's discography.
Okay, I just want to clear that up.
I have 7 through 9. Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay.
Like, it's for me, those 3 albums, like they didn't add a lot to this discography. They didn't add anything really different musically. Maybe they might have had one of their best songs, but even so, on that didn't redeem the album for me at that point. It did not.
All right. Now let's revisit what Trey said, because Trey is the Patreon member. He
Absolutely.
picked the artist. He holds the slap button.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's been a while since I've gotten a good slapping. Like I acknowledge that. I knew going in I would like fully. I knew this is probably where it was going to come to, and I fully willing to accept it.
I'll take COC and Green Day, but saying Creed and Nickelback are better than any of these three albums.
Well,
I
let
mean, I
me.
get it. If you don't like it, that's fine. But even if you don't like it, like there are albums by Creed that even their fans don't like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of
I mean,
not
Well,
Shell,
that's
but
a
what its
good
what
point.
is.
Hold up. Let me do my color code because Trey just made a good point that ties my shit into all this because Tim wasn't a fan of the Deftones before this we did this discography. Bill was
Correct.
not a fan of the Deftones before we did this discography. I considered myself a fan of the Deftones. At least the Deftones that I know. The early shit, right? I have the vinyl. I still say Adrenaline fucking kicks ass. It just does.
you're not wrong.
But
It may be my number eight, but you're not wrong.
well,
But now
as a
Jason's heard the rest of these.
as a fan, yes, going through first album, fuck yeah. Second album, there's some nostalgia there. Okay. White Pony, I fucking hated it when it came out. I fucking hated it. But at this point in
It was welcome.
2025, I'm going to say it's a caution. There's some good shit on White Pony. I like it. Everything else. As a fan from 1997 of Red, fucking all the way across, I could take an EP, maybe, of the
So,
songs that are good on those fucking, what, 5 albums? 6 albums? I could make an EP out of it and be like, yeah, this is some good Deftones. That is not my hashtag not my Deftones.
so go ahead and put Bill's Browns on those three.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I
standing by
forgot
my
about.
Browns.
I
Because
thought he was
while I
going. I
say
thought he was going to
slap
put
him,
Ramon's Gold on there.
while I say slap him, it's his opinion and it's completely justified.
It's okay. I'll take the slap. I deserve it
Oh,
from a
by the time we
standpoint.
get to this part of the video, the editor will have already put the slap in and said, "Nah, that slap's gonna stay. It's already there. I'm not removing it."
All right, so I look, as anybody who's a fan of a band, you pessimistically hope, or I'm sorry, optimistically hope that when you recommend them, the person's going to like it. So I have to look at this from my viewpoint, hoping that the person shares my interest in music. And in that way, I have to give Gore a yellow because, like I said, there's two good songs I like. The rest of it just didn't catch my attention. Adrenaline and Around the Fur are both green.
Goddamn right.
And yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia behind that, but I do think there are strong songs on those albums. I'm not going to say they're bad albums. Saturday Night Wrist. I really like this album, but I totally get that Pink Cell Phone is an anchor. It's an albatross around its neck. And if I'm going to recommend that album to someone, I'm going to tell them, look, there is a song that features graphic descriptions of things you probably don't want to fucking hear about, but it's a methed out nonsense. So I'm going to, knowing I have to give it a caveat if I'm recommending it, I have to make it yellow.
That makes sense.
Now, for me, everything else is green. Like I said with White Pony, Fetaseria is the moment that I knew this band was more than just something to listen to for me. You know, Fetaseria is a song that evokes an image of a guy in the trunk of a car with a ball gag in his mouth and some woman serial killing people across the desert. And yeah, it was
What year was the Marshall Mathers EP?
I don't know. I think they were similar, 99.
Yeah, it's 97 maybe.
But this was subtle. Marshall Mathers is very detailed. And it's about as subtle as a jackhammer. So
I
yeah,
was,
White Pony's a core memory for me. And everything going forward, you know. Like I said, if I'm recommending this band, I have to be optimistic. I understand your guys' viewpoints though.
I mean, I'll just say I was there like 97, 98. I had my fucking giant, skate pants and my Vans and my wallet chain and Deftones were, we all had a little spiky hair. The Deftones were there and like adrenaline around the fur. It just kind of fit in. And as time went on in my like musical awakening or whatever, I left all that shit behind. So even if White Pony just didn't do it for me. I think it's got some good shit because I remember changing the House of Flies. There's some good shit on there, but after that, like that sad boy shoegaze mid tempo schlock is just that's not the direction I went in.
Dude, I get it. I mean, this is emo before emo. This is
Well,
music
it's
that,
not before emo.
well, yeah, but this band, like Bill talked about MCR, this band inspired MCR in some spots. I mean, this is music that emo kids themselves to.
I think they inspired Thrice because this just sounds like fucking Thrice.
Well,
So I'll give them that. They did beat Thrice.
I don't like Thrice though.
Yeah, them early Thrice records, just like Deftones, man, they start out fucking so good.
Like I said, I like the sensual side of Deftones. That's a big part of it. And for what I'll say, if I know Bill doesn't like that part of it, he doesn't see it. But if you do see a sensual side of this band, I highly recommend Chino's side projects, Team Sleep and Crosses, because they're a lot different than Deftones. They're more electronically driven.
Oh
And
yay,
yeah.
that's another genre I don't care for. All right.
Me neither. I don't either. I hate EDM and stuff like that. But
Oh yeah.
it works for
The
me.
EDM has a time and a place.
No, it doesn't. No, we're not talking.
Yes,
No.
it does.
Stick around. We're gonna do top
when you're
songs
tripping on-
next.
When you're tripping in a fucking
No,
VW
no.
Golf.
No,
No, we can't say that shit.
Sorry.
We stick around. We're gonna do top songs next. Our favorite Deftones songs. So you don't
needs
want
a
to miss
list?
that. We want to give a shout out to Trey for being a Patreon member. If you'd like to pick an artist for us to cover and come on the show and talk about it, hit us up.
Word of advice: don't pick a core band. It's hard.
That's good advice.
It is good
Good.
advice because we obviously don't true authenticity here. Like
Respect.
we're still gonna if we don't like the band, we're still gonna shit on it. Like that's just how it is.
And that's cool.
We're not gonna like
Sorry.
lie to our fan base. Whatever. So all that said, be safe, make good decisions, listen to the band Sloppy Seconds if you want to have a good time.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.